Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's July 16th, and right now we're looking at the visible satellite imagery as of yesterday morning. I'm concentrating on Oregon here because I want to show you something here with one of the fires there that is going on across eastern Oregon. And so as we scroll through the afternoon hours, you can see that we've got that fire, the hot spot. Check it out. It's producing a pyrocumulus cloud there as it drifts off to the north and east. And look at that, creating its own lightning strikes that fire right here. So very interesting stuff. You can also see that monsoon moisture starting to make its way up across southern Oregon there yesterday with the lightning strikes across northern California. We scroll in through the evening hours and you can see plenty of lightning strikes with some of this thunderstorm activity there just off to the west of Medford across some of the higher terrain. Then we go through the sunset period. You can see the hot spot from the fire there on the GOES 18 satellite imagery. And then we come back in towards this morning. And we're going to get this system out here across the Pacific Ocean. This is going to move up the coastline here, and it's going to drag some monsoon moisture back up across the region. And I know that's what everybody wants to know about today is what are our chances of getting some lightning strikes here across western Oregon, western Washington, some of the Cascades as well. We're going to dive into that as we go through the video here this morning, taking a wider look at things here in the mid-level water vapor loop. This no doubt shows the system at its best, and you can see that system right off the coast of northern California here, and there's Oregon and Washington. So if I back this up all the way to yesterday, you can see the system right here. There's that area of cold air, and it's going to move in towards the coastal areas here, and you can see it's going to drag some of this monsoon moisture back up across the region. So this is where we are right now. You can see the system taking shape off the coast of northern California. This will be extending upward as we go through the day today and tomorrow. Taking a look at, let's back up to Tuesday here, and you can see again that lightning threat across the Cascades and some of western Oregon for today. It's going to move north a bit more and include the Cascades, some western Washington, perhaps the Portland Metro there as we go through very early tomorrow morning and some of the afternoon hours. We're also going to have critical burn environment here across eastern Washington and Oregon also. So taking a look at the isolated dry thunderstorm activity for today, it does include Medford and Eugene. And again, the problem with these thunderstorms here is they're not producing much precipitation, so they're not helping put out any of the fires that those lightning strikes may cause. This is day 2. Notice it just clipping the Seattle Metro here and some of the Cascades, east slopes of the Cascades also. Boise also included in that, as well as portions of Idaho. So National Weather Service Spokane put this out yesterday. I'm showing it again here because it still applies. Little to no rain, gusty outflow winds, lightning, region-wide. This could start fires. And again, the problem is these storms are not producing much precipitation, so any lightning strikes that occur are likely to spread fires. Now, continued heat here across much of the Pacific Northwest. We've been very warm, and some places are really going to ramp up the heat again as we go through this weekend. You can see Moses Lake 106, Lewiston 110. Look at Chelan at 108 by Sunday. Spokane back up towards 105 by Sunday as well. So above average temperatures continue, very warm out there. You guys know the drill. Drink water, take breaks. Looking at Seattle, 12th straight day at 80 degrees or higher. We only got there for a few minutes, but we did clip the 80 degree mark. The all-time record high for 80 plus degree days in a row is 15. So we have a very good chance at breaking that over the next several days. Average high this time of year is 78. And we top out at about 79 degrees as we go through the end of July. No precipitation yet. Not much expected with this next system here, but we might squeeze out a 100th of an inch or two. We'll see how that goes. But July is a pretty dry month for us overall anyway. And if you want a nice affordable home weather station that has a lightning detection system, it'll show you when last lightning was detected, how far it was away from your station. It builds its own forecast for your individual location. All kinds of cool stuff that you can graph here. Stores all the data for you in that cloud attractive unit. There's multiple mounting options as well. And for the price, this is an exceptional weather station because you can spend much more and much more expensive weather equipment here that doesn't really do much better. And it's got a great smartphone app, and the widget here will show up. You don't even have to open anything. You can just check the temperature before you head out of your house during the day. So taking a look at about 18,000 feet, this is the European model as of last night. So what is going on here is we have this monsoon moisture here across from the southwest up into Oregon, northern California, and this upper level low is going to grab some of that and spread it back up across the region there. So that's what we're seeing there. The relative humidity aloft, that moisture aloft is that monsoon moisture that's going to be spread up over the region here as we go on in through the day Wednesday. So let's take another look at that here on the high resolution model as well. This is hot hot off the presses, 500 millibars. Again, we're looking at the moisture here, and you can see that monsoon moisture wrapping around that little upper level low off the coast here, and that's what's going to bring that thunderstorm activity. What kind of lightning activity we'll get across the Portland and Seattle metro? It's a good question here. The models don't show a lot of it for Seattle, but it's quite close, and the Cascades get a pretty good round of thunderstorms through Wednesday afternoon. I'm going to show you some of that here in a moment, but this could also be bringing some across some of the Oregon coastal regions here, Salem, Eugene, Portland, the Cascades as well. Eastern Washington, some of the Columbia Gorge might get a nice lightning show overnight and into early tomorrow morning as well. Now, taking a look at a cross section here, this is Newport Municipal Airport on the Oregon coast. So if you see the 700 millibar line here is about 10,000 feet. So you can see that monsoon moisture moving in aloft, and previously, a bit drier here, of course, across the upper levels of the atmosphere. But there comes that monsoon moisture. And if we go towards Portland, it's going to arrive a little bit later. So you can see it's farther back on the timeline here. And this would be about Tuesday afternoon. And here we going into Wednesday morning as this monsoon moisture really starts to arrive aloft from that little low pressure system. It's going to be dragging it over the area. You go towards Seattle, similar picture here as well, just arriving a bit later, but that monsoon moisture aloft. So there is going to be instability in this layer here, but will it cause lightning strikes out over the lower elevations? That is the big question. This is Grant County, Moses Lake, Eastern Washington, monsoon moisture, just kind of showing you guys that as well. So taking a look at the North American model, hot off the presses here on the left, the 12Z run versus itself on the 06Z run. This is what the Doppler radar may look like over the next couple of days. So we go through the day today, you can see thunderstorm activity here across some of the Oregon Cascades, maybe trying to drift out towards some of the Willamette Valley a little bit here. But look, as we go in towards this afternoon and evening, we start to spread this activity back across Eugene, Salem, up towards the Portland metro as we go towards midnight tonight. The Cascades of Oregon probably getting lightning at this time as well. So we go in very early tomorrow morning, the gorge out there, Washington-Oregon border. Then this precip tries to spread up here. Could be some lightning associated with this as well as it moves across western Washington. And then we're going to have this upper level low drift across the Cascades. And you can see as we go towards the end of the run, you can see the thunderstorms pop off across the Cascades. And some of them try to drift out a bit here over some of the lower elevations of western Washington. And of course, this is going to be the case for eastern Washington as well. So if we take a look at the high resolution rapid refresh here, this is lightning flash density potential. Let's scroll through the day today. You can see the thunderstorm activity moving up, and it goes on in through tonight into tomorrow morning, tries to drift up towards western Washington. And then as we go through tomorrow afternoon, you notice another round there across the Cascades here, and that could be really problematic as far as starting fires here for the east slopes, the Cascades, out towards Wenatchee and Chelan there, and up towards northern Cascades and eastern Washington. We get to really watch that time period here as we go through the day tomorrow. So yeah, active weather incoming here, folks. And you can see this is the European. Let's play through it. It's the lightning flash density potential as well. So as we go through the day today, you can clearly see it across some of the Cascades of Oregon. Then the upper level low really gets cranking here. And we start to bring that lightning threat out across some of the lower elevations. And then it eventually moves up. And you can see Wednesday afternoon quite active across the Cascades. Maybe even a lightning strike there for the Olympic Mountains as this activity moves up and across the area. Now, this is the lightning strike I got from some elevated convection back in 2020 here. So this was actually from my house. So you can get some pretty impressive stuff there, and we don't look, looks like we're going to be pretty dry in the lower levels, not showing too many low clouds. So storm chasers out here, or storm hunters across the Pacific Northwest, could get a nice lightning show if you set up in the right place. Those high bases and those cloud to ground strikes can really be photogenic if you time them up with some kind of landmark or during the right time of the day where the lighting is best. Now, looking at the North American model, this is 500 millibar temperature here. So we haven't looked at this yet, but you can see the upper level low, and it's really at its strongest here, probably about as we go into very early tomorrow morning. And you can see that coldest air aloft right here as a cyclone is bringing that southeast wind and that convection back over western Oregon. But it loses a little bit of its punch here, and it kind of drifts off across the Cascades. So it doesn't continue to bring a lot of that southeast flow back out across some of the Puget Sound. So it makes a very iffy forecast on if thunderstorms are going to happen across the Seattle metro. But this colder air aloft during the day Wednesday will be drifting over the Cascades, and that's no doubt going to kick off convection across the Cascades, and dangerous fire weather conditions will be in place as that's moving across. Now, taking a look for today, you can see the thunderstorm potential here does include Eugene. As we go through this afternoon, you can see off to the east of Medford here, east slopes of the Cascades of southern Oregon, and as we go through tonight as well. So this is the day one official storm prediction center. It does kind of clip the Portland Metro as we go through later tonight there. And this is day two, mainly across the Cascades. Does not include the Seattle Metro right now, but that does not mean we can't get some thunderstorm activity out here across Western Washington also. So let's take a look at the extended forecast here before we forget. You can see the European model here as we scroll on in towards, actually, I might want to point this out. This is that little system right there as we go through the day today and tomorrow. You can say just a little blurb, just very subtle feature there, rides up here on the western periphery of this ridge. And then the ridge builds here and we kind of get this very strong ridge here across some of central Canada. So we're going to remain warm. That's why we're going to warm up so much here across the weekend for portions of eastern Washington especially. We got this big trough here, big cat and mouse game, a very strong ridge and some troughing here across the Gulf of Alaska. And then you can see it wants to push towards the Pacific Northwest as we go through next week. So that's when we may start to cool down and we may end that streak for a CTAC of the 80-degree day highs. And then we scroll off into the extended forecast and who knows what's going to happen then. But you can see the Europeans continuing to show some troughing that would be affecting the Pacific Northwest. I'll take that. I like this cooler days sometimes during the summer. We've had a pretty nice stretch of some hot weather. And you can see the GFS ensemble showing things warming up. We're probably going to easily surpass 80 today, and we're going to stay warm. This is almost downright hot here for Seattle standards. You know, you're talking about some mid and upper 80s as we go on in towards this weekend coming up, then perhaps cooling down after that. We'll see how that goes. National blended model, so you can see the entire region here. You can see the Willamette Valley today, very warm, downright hot, approaching the upper 90s. And you see tomorrow, again, very warm day up towards 90 degrees. Eastern Washington, look at this. Multiple days coming with 100-degree plus temperatures as we go on in towards the early portion of next week. And perhaps finally getting a cool down as we go through next week. But as you can see, a very impressive stretch of very hot weather here for Eastern Washington coming up. This is the 6 to 10 day with the big ridge building. There should be no surprise. There's a below average signal here for now for some of the Pacific Northwest. A little bit of monsoon moisture kind of hanging out there as well. And again, one more look there at the 7-day significant fire potential. As we go through this weekend, we're going to kick off some westerly winds here for eastern portions as well. And we're going to have a critical burn environment in place. And all these lightning strikes here are just that lightning threat here as we go through today and tomorrow. But yeah, interesting stuff out there. Pyrocumulus clouds. We got an upper level low. We're going to have lightning all over the place here the next couple of days. Will it get out across western Washington, Portland? Probably a little better chance for thunderstorm activity here with this system. But again, we'll be watching it. We're going to break it all down tomorrow as well. I may go out there and chase this. If I do, I may try to live stream also. So we'll see how that goes. But anyway, I hope you guys are liking these videos. Click like and subscribe. We'll do this all again at some point, either again today or tomorrow. And I will talk to you guys then.